Montgomery, who is the COO of Group M Interaction in North America. Great to have you with us, John. Is this a vision of the future, or is the Internet of Things already here, basically?
Well, it is both. I think the Internet of Things is going to be absolutely huge, and it's going to touch us all, and it's going to be very big. It's predicted by Cisco that over 50 billion sensors will connect us all by 2020. That's not such a long time down the road. And that this business will be worth around $19 trillion. That's T for trillion dollars by 2020.
Which is about 40 times our GDP, I think. So just to put it in perspective.
But to your point, I think we're already connected via mobile phones. 10 years ago, the only thing that sort of tenuously connected us to the web was our sort of shaky modem connection on our computers. Now, most people have got around 10 connections through their smartphones. You can control your DVR, your PlayStation, your television, even, as you said, your fridge and many other appliances throughout our home. Your climate control system knows when it's hot. It knows when you're half away from home because your GPS and your phone chip has told us, so it switches itself on. And those things are all convenient related. And it might sound to your listeners that it's a little trite, but it's starting to get into an area now where, whilst everything's controlled with your smartphone, soon the sensors will start communicating with each other. And we'll have a world blanketed by sensors who are essentially looking after us and providing us more convenience. But also in areas like medical and automotive and the running of cities more efficiently, it can start getting very useful, keeping us safer, being much more effective. And so it's not just about convenience. There really is a serious side to it in the medical side, for instance, the automotive side, keeping us safer.
A lot of benefits, but I think to some people it sounds scary. Billions of sensors tracking your every move. Will some people want to opt out? You know, there's already anxiety that people make you jealous all day on Facebook. Work can find you anywhere.
Yeah. It's the number one issue that's always raised. But what about privacy? And there's certainly, I mean, to someone like me, I see the possibilities as endless possibilities at making the world safer, making it more efficient, connecting us better. We're already connected. I think that your cell phone company, Apple, Google, your credit card company knows what you're buying, knows where you are, knows what you're doing. The data is already there, and this will multiply the data, I think. But there are some people with dystopian fears like man ruled by a machine,
well, nowhere to hide, I guess.
Yeah, and surveillance and this kind of merciless marketing madness where I'll be, I have ads shown to me everywhere, like Minority Report. And I think that the companies that are developing this and using this data know this. And I believe that the benefits are going to outweigh the potential risks and the potential disadvantages. Everybody talks a lot about privacy, but they still share pictures of their family and their home on Facebook. And so I think because right now Facebook is a free service, Google is a largely free service, and it's very, very convenient. Your cell phone's convenient. So as long as the convenience, and I think this is going to go beyond convenience. It really is going to go into saving lives on the road, making everything safe. And I'm happy to share some of those examples with you. And I think that those conveniences are going to outweigh any of the risks. And if the companies can treat the data responsibly, keep it safe, and I think gain consumers' trust by that, I think it'll be a lot, I think it'll be fine.
And it becomes a competitive advantage if you respect their privacy, probably. Give me some of those examples. I mean, in South Africa, I know people who can check on their security systems. It's very important for electricity usage. You can turn off things at home, but it still seems to be a very high-end, expensive thing to do. What does it look like in the US?
I think in the US it's just slightly accelerated. We shouldn't think that because we're in South Africa that we're less sophisticated. We're a mobile first culture, and this is all about mobility. These sensors are all going to be mobile. So I think the adoption of smartphones in Africa, as you may well know, that there's a Chinese company that's now developed smartphones for under $20. Google and Facebook, it's in their interests to blanket the world with free Wi-Fi coverage so that they can do better business in Africa. Africa is the next economic frontier. So let's not think that we're behind the US in this. But in the US, this is accelerated. Most people are connected to the web via 10 different sensors or devices at the moment, and that'll accelerate. But in the serious areas like medical, it's starting to solve some really thorny issues like medical compliance. There's now a sensor which is smaller than a grain of sand, which goes inside the tablet, which you swallow. And when you swallow it, the electrical current interacting between this kind of sensor that's the size of a grain of sand and your digestive juices lets off an electronic current and speaks to a health sensor on your arm, which gives blood pressure and heart rate and a number of other things.
Wow.
So that the doctor can know exactly how your metabolism is interacting with this medicine. So you don't have to wait until the next appointment for your doctor to say, so how are you feeling? The doctor knows how you're feeling by looking at the smartphone.
Absolutely incredible. And you have a little device.
Yeah, this is more in the area of convenience, but if you're like me and you lose things all the time, I lose my wallet, I lose my keys, anything's not tethered to me with a chain. And so this is a tiny device which is crowdsourced. They're just starting to come out. I got mine a week ago. It's called Tile. You literally connect this to your key ring, to your dog, your cat, your child, your wallet, as I do. And if you ever want to know where it is, you just pick up your smartphone, push a button, it'll tell you exactly where it is. And if it's caught behind a cushion on your couch, it'll even emit a little noise. Sure. And if you join the Tile community and you go past somebody else who's lost their bicycle and your Tile passes their bicycle, it informs them and they know how to contact you. So these are cool devices. They're going to get really small.
Well, that's interesting, because I was going to say, couldn't it make our lives more complex, more passwords, more settings to do? You know, when cars went electrical, people started saying everything works well, but if something goes wrong, everything goes wrong. Is that not a danger with all these connections?
I guess it is, but it's the march of progress. And if you think about how reliable cars have become, even with all of those things in them. In fact, talking about cars, I think it's important for us to talk about this, is that cars are becoming connected too. So in the US by 2016, 40 million cars that are delivered will be connected to the web. And each of these cars, not just those cars, but everybody with a smartphone is connected to the web in their car. And those cars have got many sensors to talk about the health of the engine and schedule maintenance and all those things. But it goes a step further in terms of your safety. A car will know where other cars on the road are, for instance, long before you see them. So if you're going down Jan Smuts and there's another car coming on a collision course that you can't see, your navigation system can warn you about that car, and it can even apply the brakes to keep you out of harm's way.
I needed that in Joburg traffic today. People were crazy.
You might, but so these things tend to sound a little trite and cool and stuff like that, but there's some really, Google are developing a contact lens for diabetics. So as you may know that if you're a diabetic, you've got to prick your finger to see your insulin levels, and it's sort of dodgy at best and it's very uncomfortable. So Google have developed it's in experimentation now, but a contact lens that interacts with the glucose in the tears in your eyes and transmits wirelessly to your smartphone to tell you what your insulin levels are. And if they drop below a certain level, it'll warn you, and it'll even warn medical, your medical practitioners to come and help you.
Well, thank you, John. I think I'm more excited about something that I wasn't so excited about before. Thank you for telling us some of the trends. We were talking about the Internet of Things. That was John Montgomery from Group M Interact.